Hello and welcome to Area and Perimeter. Okay, so you should be following along with your notes as I go over these example problems. So area, we know, is the amount of space on the inside of an object. So the amount of space the inside of an object takes up, that's area. Okay, and perimeter is the distance around each side. So this side plus this side plus this side plus this side. Again, the distance around the outside of an object, perimeter. Okay, so number one, we're going to find the area and perimeter of the following figure. So if you check, this is our figure here. We have the formulas for all the area on your formula sheet. So let's find the area first. So the area of a rectangle is length times the width. So we just have to identify those things. So the area is the length is 13 centimeters and the width is 4 centimeters. So all we have to do is multiply 13 times 4. So area equals 13 times 4, which is 52 centimeters squared. Now, because we multiplied these two, it's a centimeter, it's square centimeters. So we could fit 50 little square centimeters, 52 square centimeters inside of this rectangle. Okay, and so perimeter, while we do have a formula for perimeter, the formula that I like to use for perimeter is just to add up all of the sides. So let's add up all of the sides. If this side is 4, that means, or excuse me, if this side is 13 centimeters, the properties of a rectangle says that this side is also 13 centimeters because those are congruent. And if this side's 4 centimeters, the opposite side is also 4 centimeters. Okay, so now we have all sides of the rectangle. Now we just have to add them up. So we can do that. 4 plus 13 plus 4 plus 13. So add those all up. You can put that in Desmos and you get 34 centimeters. So it's 34 centimeters around. Again, notice your labels here. Area, it's going to be square units. And for perimeter, it's a linear distance. So just centimeters. Okay. You try this one. Just a quick heads up, these little lines here means that all of the sides are congruent. So if this is 6 centimeters, that means all of them are 6 centimeters. So try this one on your own. All right, so the area is 6 times 6, or 6 squared, because it's a square, which is 36 centimeters squared. The perimeter, or the distance around, we're going to add up all the sides, is 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, or 6 times 4, because they're all equal, which is 24 centimeters. Okay, let's try a new problem. All right, this shape is a parallelogram, and we're going to find the area and perimeter of the parallelogram. So the formula for area of parallelogram is base times height, the length of the base times the height. So we have to identify those. So the base, B, is 11, and the height is always that perpendicular distance. So the height in this particular problem is 6. Okay, so it's going to be area is 11 times 6. 11's the base, 6 is the height. Base times height. And now we just multiply those together, and 11 times 6 is 66 inches. This is in inches, so square inches. Now the perimeter, we have to add up all of the sides, so we need all of the sides. So this side is 11, that means that this side is 11. Okay, because those are congruent. And if this slanty side here is 8, that means that this slanty side here is 8. So if we go around, 11 plus 8 plus 11 plus 8, 8 plus 11 plus 8 plus 11, add that all up, we get 38 inches. Okay, you try this one. All right, and here's the work for it. Area should have been 21 times 7, which would have given you 147 inches squared. And the perimeter should have been 12 plus 21 plus 12 plus 21, or 12 plus 12, 21, 21, and should have been 66 inches. So check your work. If it's incorrect, make sure to change it on your paper. All right, let's try another. So we're going to find the area and perimeter of this triangle. Okay, so we have this triangle here, and our formula for area is 1/2 base times height. So base is the distance across the bottom, so that's going to be 12. And the height, just like with parallelograms, the height is that perpendicular distance, which is 4. Okay, so it's going to be 1/2 times 12 times 4. Okay, and you can put that into your calculator. 1/2 times 12 times 4, or 12 times 4 is 48, and then take half of it, which is 24 units squared. There's no units on here, so we'll just do units squared. Okay, and for our perimeter, we're going to add up all of the sides. So we will do 9 plus 12 plus 5, 12 plus 9 plus 5, and that gives us 26 units. Again, because there's no labels, we'll just say units. Okay, let's try another problem. So here we have a right triangle. We're going to find the area and perimeter of the following figure. So we've got area equals base times height. The base is 12, and the height, this is still that height because it's the perpendicular distance. So it's 1/2 times 12 times 5. 12 times 5. And you can put this entire thing into your calculator. I like to do it in pieces, but I did 12 times 5, which is 60, and then took half of 60, which is 30. So that area of this triangle is 30 centimeters squared. Okay, now we need the perimeter. So to find the perimeter, we need to add up all of the sides. But you can see here, we have the 12 and the 5. We don't have this missing side length. However, this is a right triangle, and we know how to find the missing sides on a right triangle by using our Pythagorean theorem. So let's do that. So 12 plus 5 plus missing length. So let's find that. So 5 squared, A, plus 12 squared, B, is equal to our hypotenuse squared. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144, is equal to C squared. Let's add 25 and 144. We get 169 is C squared, square root both sides, and we get C is equal to 13. So this missing side length here is 13 centimeters. Okay, now we have all the pieces. Let's go ahead and find that. So 12 plus 5 plus 13 is 30 centimeters. Okay. Number 7, area and perimeter of a trapezoid. This is a trapezoid. Okay. So this formula is pretty complicated. So we've got area equals 1/2 the height times the sum of the two bases. So the bases are the two parallel sides, and the height is still that perpendicular distance. So 1/2 times height, the height is 4. Base 1 we can call 8, and base 2 we can call 6. So we can put those numbers in. 1/2 times 4, which was our height, plus the bases 6 and 8. The order of those doesn't matter. If you had 8 and 6, that would have been fine. So the first thing we need to do, following our order of operations, is add 6 and 8. So 6 plus 8 is 14. So bring that down. 6 plus 8 is 14. Now we can put that all into our calculator, into our Desmos. So 1/2 times 4 times 14 is 28 units. Okay, now we need the perimeter. So when you find your perimeter, add up all of the sides on the outside. So that's going to be 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 8. 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 8. That 4 is not on the outside of the trapezoid. It's on the inside. So that's not part of the perimeter. So add those all up, and we get 26 units. You try this one. Okay, so you should have gotten 1/2. 12 was the height. 26 was base 1. 16 was base 2. Again, if you had those two switched, you would have been fine. Add 26 and 16 and multiply them all together. You should have gotten 252 meters squared. Then for your perimeter, add up all of the sides. You should have gotten 13 plus 16 plus 13 plus 26, which should have been 68 meters. So 68 meters around the trapezoid. Okay. And for our final two problems, okay, we're going to find the area and circumference. So it's with a circle. We don't call it perimeter because you think of perimeter, that's adding up all of the sides. Well, circles don't have sides. So we call it circumference, is the distance around the circle. Kind of the same thing as perimeter, but with a circle, we just have a different name for it. Okay, so for our area, go to our formula sheet. And our area is pi times the radius squared. So you guys are going to use 3.14 for pi. Okay, so area equals 3.14 for pi times the radius. The radius is this distance here, which is 7 squared. So now we can just put that into our calculator. So let's do that. So 3.14 times 7 squared, which is 153.86. We can round that to the nearest tenth, so we'll call that that all disappeared. Area equals 3.14 times 7 squared, which was, oh, I forget. Which was 153.9. And we don't have units on this, so we'll just call it units squared. Okay. Now for circumference, we'll use our formula here. So circumference is equal to, we actually have two formulas here. So we could use the formula 2 times pi times r, or we could use the formula pi times d, which is diameter. So since we have a radius here, let's just use the formula with r in it. So we'll do 2 times pi, which we'll use 3.14, times the radius, which is 7. And you can type that all into your Desmos, and you get 43.96, which if we round that up, that's about 44.0 units. All right, and last problem. So I'm going to let you guys find the area. Okay, so for the area, you should have used area equals pi r squared. And using 3.14 for pi. Now this problem uses the radius, which they didn't give us the radius in this problem. They actually gave us the diameter. So to find the radius, you need to cut that value in half. So 23 divided by 2 is 11.5. So our radius is 11.5. Okay, so we can put that into our calculator. So 11.5. And if we round that to the nearest tenth, we should have gotten 415.3 inches squared. Okay, now let's try our circumference. So circumference equals, and this time they actually gave us the diameter in the problem. The diameter is 23. So we can actually use this formula this time. So the circumference equals pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter, which is 23. So we can figure out what that is. 3.14 times 23 is about 72.2. And that's area and circumference.